Hey everybody, this is Mr. Munson. We're on Unit 10, Transformations, and this is Comp-Sent number 2, Part 1, Translations. Now that tasty dish you see there has nothing to do with geometry, but it does have everything to do with Rebecca in my 6th period class who loves chicken Alfredo. This video is dedicated to her and her snort laughs. Okay, let's get started.
Okay, so as I was saying, that's part one. So we're looking at translations. And so let's go ahead and continue on and look at this in greater detail. So translations is probably one of the easiest thing to look at. So translation is, suppose we had some picture, and we'll look at this as my original picture, right? And I took it and I slid it over and then down. Now, if you just walked in the room, you'd think I slid it sideways, kind of diagonally. But I didn't. I slid it over and down, and that's called a translation. The translations are also known as slides and glides, and they mean the same thing. So sometimes in some books or on some tests they might call it a slide or a glide. I'm going to call them translations. Now, if you walked in and I didn't have these arrows here, you wouldn't know which one was the original, which one was the copy. So let's call this A, and we'll call this one A prime. So you know by that prime that it's the copy. As you see over here, I have a double prime. That means it's the second copy. Okay, let's see how we're going to apply this. This is called a vector over here. And so this is kind of the rule. It's telling us what we want to do with our points. And so according to this, we need to apply this -3 to the x and the 5 to the y. Now, this is telling us left and right, and this is telling us up and down. And just as you expected, a negative would be to the left and a positive would be up. So it's telling us take this point K and move it 3 to the left and 5 up. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And there's the copy of K. Hopefully you'd understand I would call it K prime. Now this rule here is telling me the exact same thing. This symbol here, which is different than the one we used in conditional statements, that had 2 bars on it. This one only has 1, and this is the word maps to. All right, why don't you put me on pause and move this triangle using the vector t in accordance to the rule. Now both of these represent the same vector. It's just different notation you might experience at different times, different places. Okay, once you have moved it, I want you to go ahead and list the coordinates for A prime, B prime, and C prime. Come back and check your work. Okay, I hope that you have this right. So I just simply took each point and I walked over 4, down 2. Now this triangle and the original triangle should be the same shape and pointed in the same direction. It shouldn't have changed its perspective in any way. A translation is just simply a slide around your coordinate plane. Now, what I would like to show you is that if you didn't have all this on a coordinate plane, all you did is have a list of points for these, and it told you to map them to a new place. All you have to do is take your x, plug it in there, and in this case it would be -2 plus 4, which gives you +2, and then the 3 would go in here, and 3 minus 2 is 1, and you just do that for each point. It's really that simple. All right, and that's it. That's translations. All right, let's do some practice.